The one thing I love about Eve is how creative you can be sometimes, even in the face of like really bad patch notes. So, in the spirit of industry, I am going to show you a Null-Sec Rorqual mining strategy that I've been using for the past week or so. That I think is pretty clever. A little bit more training is involved, but I think it's safer than drag mining. And this is going to be a strategy that does not utilize sieging, and the idea is that, you know, when a nuke comes in system, you can just kind of GTFO, right? I'm gonna try to illustrate this as best I can. So starting off, what we have is we have the Rorqual, and then we have two Hulks, and then we have a Sinowalt. This Sinowalt is in a different system than the Rorqual and the two Hulks at the moment. And so in the system where we're mining right now, we have an ice nav, which is where we're at right now. And then we have an insta-dock nav, it's going to represent, for this video, it's going to represent a insta-dock at a fort or a Tatara. So we're out here, we're normally mining, we're doing our thing, right? If no nukes come in, it's pretty safe, whatever. When we fill up, we can just kind of go back to this insta-dock, normal warp, right? Cool. If a nuke comes in, then what we're going to do is we're actually going to conduit jump both Hulks with the Rorqual over to this other system where this Sinowalt is sitting, and this system also has a ice nav for an ice belt, and also has an insta-dock, which is what this is representing. This nav where the Sino is going to be representing an insta-dock at a fort or Tatara as well. And so what would happen is, so let's say a nuke comes in. Normally I wouldn't have the Sinowalt on the same rotation. I have it on a separate computer, just so I don't have to cycle past the Sino every time. But just so I can show you what the Sino is kind of doing during all this, I'll have her on the screen here. So let's say a nuke comes in, right? We're going to pop this Sino right here. I'm going to go and read the Sino. We're going to go back here, and we're going to go here, and we're going to right click on the capacitor. We're going to go to conduit jump, and then we're going to conduit jump the entire fleet right there. And we're taking everybody with us. So now we are in the same system at the insta-dock for that, you know, for Tatara where the Sino was. And we're going to immediately be tethered here as well, so our cap will start going up. We can also dock, we can empty our ice, we can do our thing. And you know, normally you do this, you know, with a nuke come in, or you can just do it if you want to empty, and you can run like mine two different systems at the same time. And so what would happen from here is you basically dock up your Rorqual, dock up your Hulks and everything, kind of like take a break, whatever, you know, empty the Rorqual out, refuel a little bit, and then what you're doing is you're waiting for the Sino alt to get done. And then what you would do is then you would just move this Sino alt back to the other system that we just came from, to its insta-dock nav, and it would just sit there laying in wait. And then when you're ready to go mine again, right here, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to warp to this system's ice nav right here. So you can see both Hulks and the Rorqual are going to mine here. So let's just say we, you know, jumped over here, we got tethered up, we got our, you know, capacitor, and we got emptied our, you know, ice and all that. We undock again, and we go and we mine this ice belt, right? And so what we'll do is we'll basically continue on doing this. So we'll get to this ice belt, we'll start mining again. If a nuke comes into this system, our Sino's already in the system we just came from. And so what we do is if a nuke comes in this system, we would just jump back to the other system, right? To that insta-dock at that fort or Tatara, and empty out, and, you know, then you'll mine that belt. So to better illustrate this, I made kind of a little graphic to help kind of understand what I'm talking about. So this would represent system 1, right? This would be your mining area, and this is your fort Tatara with an insta-dock nav right here. And you're always only ever going to go from the fort Tatara to the mining area, right? And if there's no nukes in system, right, then you could just go from mining area back to the fort or whatever, the Tatara, and empty out as needed. So now let's add the second system in here. This would be system number 2. Same setup. You have a mining area here with a fort Tatara with instant nav right here, and then you'd have just the routes. So let's say you're mining here like we were, and then a nuke came in system 1. We would then conduit jump the Hulks and everybody all the way over to the system 2 for Tatara insta-dock. And then once we tether up, we get our cap, we empty our ice, we do whatever we gotta do, then we can just undock and then go to this mining area and mine here. And then the Sinowalt can just move over to here. And then if something happens in this system, Nuke comes in here, we then just Conduit jump back over to here, right? And do the same thing. And then, you know, we're emptied and cap is all back up and everything. We can go mine here. And if something happens to this system, we go back over. You see what I'm saying? So basically, we can mine 2 separate systems, 2 separate mining areas. And every time, you know, we have visitors or we have an issue, then we just hop to the other system and kind of continue on a little merry way. I use just one Sinowalt. And I try to make sure these systems are as close as possible, just so I don't use as much oxygen isotopes. The further these systems are away, and they can be up to 10 light years away from each other, but keep in mind, the further away they are, the more topes you're going to use in that distance. And you could take up to 30 ships with you, so you can have an entire mining fleet doing this out here on a mining area, mining, just sucking down ice, unsieged. And if you have any slight problem with local, you just throw them over. And I think it's pretty cool. I used to be a really big drag mine fan, but you know, with drag mining, you get to there's a lot of setup involved and everything. And once you actually get in trouble, you have to get off grid into a pause. This doesn't even require a pause. There's multiple system setup, but you know, whatever. I mean, like these guys just got back to grid here, and so we could literally just, you know, have these hulks. You know, you just have them target up this ice, and then they just be off to the races again. You know, obviously they have to like open the fleet hangars and do all the things, and then, you know, the Rorqual would turn on its boost again, right? And then, you know, before we even came out here, we'd have that Sinowalt in on that next system, you know, ready to go. So that is the Conduit jump mining strategy that I've been using. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.